Welcome to the Heart-Led Business Show, where compassion meets commerce and leaders lead with love. Join your host, Tom Jacobs, as he delves into the insightful conversations with visionary business leaders who defy the status quo, putting humanity first and profit second. From heartfelt strategies to inspiring stories, this podcast is your compass in the world of conscious capitalism. So buckle up and let your heart guide your business journey.
Welcome to the Heart-Led Business Show, where we dive into delightful depths of passion-fueled pursuits. Today, we're soaring high with the enchanting Dawn Staudt, the mastermind behind Heart and Light Yoga. Dawn embodies the essence of a free spirit. So join us as we explore her journey of nurturing connection, growth, and all things yoga. So step onto that mat with us and let's unfold the magic and stretch our hearts and learn more about heart-led entrepreneurship. So Dawn, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I need you to do my intros all the time. That was amazing. Thank you.
So Dawn, I'm really excited for today's conversation because I love talking to other fitness entrepreneurs. So that's where I got my start. And especially yogis, because that is like the heart-led business that I know about that struggles the most with the business side.
Yes.
So I'm really excited to talk to you today about that. And I'm sure all the yogis out there that are listening as well are going to enjoy today's conversation also. But of course, before we get started, what is your definition of a heart-led business?
I am really lucky that my parents were entrepreneurs. My dad started several businesses and took them to success. And so I had a really good training ground of, even if you had a regular day job, you looked at it like you owned the company and you put in 110% and you looked at it like it was yours. But really everything my dad did, and my mom as well, was really heart-led. Everything they did had to align with their belief system. They didn't just start any random business. They really tried to provide a service to the community. And so that was really my training ground. And I think that's why in corporate jobs, sometimes I felt like I wanted to do more, or I wanted to do things differently or whatever. And so always I was searching for something that could be my own. And it really wasn't until I went through yoga teacher training a few years later, after teaching all around the Nashville-area, it just kind of entered my heart that I wanted to own a studio. I felt like there was things that I wanted to do or not do and really provide a service. And in the area where my yoga studio is, yoga is still fairly new. There's a lot of yoga studios in Nashville, but there's not a lot on this side of town. And I really just wanted to create a safe space for people who may not feel comfortable going to a studio, right? So all ages and shapes and sizes, and just a safe space for people to really experiment and see if yoga was for them, and to really give them the confidence to do things on their mat that they can maybe then take off that kind of confidence off their mat as well. So for me, that's really what it is. Yes, I own a brick and mortar business, so I do have to have a certain amount of income. But really, for me, it is really more about serving the community. It is really more about being a light for the community. So sometimes we have a class with just one person in it. And if that's the one person that needs yoga, then we'll be there, right? Yes, we do try to do things and market and all of those things to keep the bills paid and keep the teachers paid. But really, the decisions that we make is really how can we give our community the tools that they need to survive and thrive in this world.
That's great. And what a good definition in terms of serving the community. That's amazing too. I don't talk to a lot of entrepreneurs that also have the parents being entrepreneurs and having that support system, but also just growing up around that. But it's different than, having, like, my parents worked. Mom was kind of entrepreneurial, but at the end of the day, had a job, basically a consultant job.
Yeah.
But seeing them work and then trying to help when there's issues with the business is always, but do you really understand what I'm going through?
Yeah.
Having your parents, I bet that's been amazing.
People are like, oh, you own your own business, you can make your own hours. But understanding that those hours were 14 hours a day, right? It was calls at 4 a.m. in the morning. It was cleaning at 12 at midnight, like understanding that there was a lot that went into it, but still just knowing that it was something that was yours and that you built and that you helped build this community, and also that you helped create jobs for the employees that you hire. And So for me, when I graduated graduate school and I went into the work world, I was like, what do you mean I got to sit at a desk? What is this? Like, no, wait, what? So, yeah. So
Wow.
it's just it's a mindset. And I was lucky. So as I face challenges and whatever in my own business venture, I know that it's not the end of the world because I watched my parents go through it.
Yeah. And so what was that transition like for you going from sitting behind a desk, taking direction from somebody and to then opening up your own business?
To be clear, I still have a day job because the yoga studio
Okay.
is not super
Perfect.
profitable yet and have to pay the bills. But so I do still have
That's
a day
right.
job. I have a wonderful job with a wonderful team of people. I work in marketing, but really being able to have your own space and make your own decisions. So if something works, you can celebrate that. And if something doesn't, it's my mistake. It's on me, right? But I made it, right? I
Right.
was not at the mercy of someone else's decision. And some things have worked and some things haven't. But at the end of the day, this is a space that I helped build. And we have such a wonderful community. I created the container, but the community of people that have come and the teachers that have come to teach is just this amazing community. And so I can't take credit for that. I just created the space and provided the safe space for everyone. And it's just such a lovely, so even if I have a working during the day and then I head to the studio, it's my happy place. Like it refills my cup to be able to continue to give back.
That's so great. Especially as I transitioned from corporate to owning my own fitness company, I was working
Mhm.
during the day
Yeah.
as well and training people at night.
Mhm.
And it was that training at night that just lit
Mhm.
me up. And it sounds like it's the
Yeah.
same for you. But I think you stated that your day job is great. Also, mine was not so much. So it was like draining my soul.
Mhm.
And I just needed to get out of there as
Yeah.
quickly as possible.
Yeah, I've experienced that. I've just stepped into a new job. So I think it's been 2.5 months. So it's a fairly new
Okay.
position and it's a remote job so that I'm able to be home. My studio is half a mile from my house. So I could walk there. I don't usually, but I could.
Good.
So, I'm right there in case there's any issues. So it just allows me a little bit more flexibility to focus also on my own business.
Nice. And how long has the studio been?
So we are 6 years old. We opened in
Oh,
a different location. We shared a space with another fitness studio when we first opened in perfect timing, March of 2020, right before the
oh my
tornado
gosh.
hit Nashville, and then the derecho, and then the pandemic. It was a good way to dip my toe in the water. But then
Right.
but then that building got sold, and so they were going to change whatever they had in there. So we had to leave, and I had to make a decision. Do I close? Because at that point, most of the classes I had taught were virtual. Do I close or do I find another space? And oddly enough, when I had first started looking for spaces, I had looked at the space I'm in now. It was actually the very first space I looked at. And it was a jewelry store at the time, and it needed a lot of work. And we just couldn't come to an agreement as far as money to do updates. And so I passed on it. And out of nowhere, that real estate property manager reached back out to me and said, hey, are you still interested in this space? Now it was a fitness studio. And would you be interested in sharing the space or taking over the lease? And so we actually renegotiated, but I felt like the space just kept calling to me. Aside from it being the perfect location, it just kept calling back to me. And so we've been in this space. This is our 4th year in the space where we are now. And it takes about 4 years to kind of get really established. And so we're starting to see attendance increasing for our events and our classes. And so we're starting to see a little bit of growth trajectory. So that's good.
Now, let's shift gears a little bit and talk more about the business side
Mhm,
of running a studio,
mhm,
which is everybody's favorite, right?
mhm.
Where have, besides your parents and watching them in their entrepreneurial journey, but where have you learned business skills and how to apply that to a small business?
Yeah. So I've worked in marketing for many years, digital marketing, regular marketing. And I felt like I was coming in with a pretty big background. When you're working for a company and they have the budget for marketing and you have teams of people to help with things, it's a little bit different than applying that marketing knowledge to a small business with very little
Mhm.
funds. So I came in thinking this is going to be easy, no problem. I got this. And it was a little harder. So, yeah. So
Yeah, $10,000 ad spend per month
No,
is
yes. Yeah,
probably
probably not in the cards. So we did a lot of bartering, a lot of bank borrowing and stealing. We did a lot of small social ads and things that were more affordable. We have some local magazines here that have pretty good rates. So we did some print, we did digital advertising. I did whatever I could. We have some fitness magazines here that are both digital and print, and they're
interesting.
very kind and featuring me and or the studio. We did a lot of local events, just set up a table, introduce ourselves. I hired a social media manager, but she has moved on, and so now I'm doing it myself, which I have a background in it, but it is time consuming, but so all the necessary evils. But really in something like a yoga studio, it is really word of mouth. And so we focused really hard on just creating a space that brings joy to people and we always ask for a review after every class. So we
Oh,
have
good.
quite a few reviews on Wellness Living, which is the platform that we use to manage the studio, and also
Mm.
on Google. And so that's what really drives. And then just from a class perspective, we try to offer a pretty wide variety. We obviously have a lot of yoga classes, but we also offer bar, we offer a sculpt which is yoga with weights, and we offer a qigong class, which is like tai chi.
Oh,
So we try
nice.
to offer a variety of times and classes. And then for our events, we usually do 3 to 4 events every month. And we try to do a mix of yoga related or yoga adjacent type events. But we also do just regular, like coming up at the end of the month, we have a book swap. And so it's a free book swap for the community. They can come, you can
Oh,
drop
wow.
off books, you can grab whatever books you want. We always bring a local author in to sign and sell their books. We have a local baker, Literary Flower, that comes and sells her delicious treats. And we do things like that. We offer a lot of free women's groups and free gatherings, like full moon gatherings. We offer a lot of community related things. We've done macrame classes and
Wow.
things like that. So try to make it accessible to the community. Some things have worked and some things haven't. It's a struggle. The marketing doesn't automatically hit. It's not you put the ad out there and you immediately get the sales. There's some lag. And I just feel like I'm
Yeah.
doing all the things. I've talked to marketing consultants, I've talked to others yoga studio owners, and what am I missing? Where's the gap? And everybody's, oh, you're doing all the things. But then you get a new student that comes in and said, oh, I never even heard of you before. You're like, I'm trying to be everywhere.
Exactly. Well, where have you
Right. Where have
been?
you been? How do you not know? So, yeah.
Having those community events is so brilliant. I know a lot of fitness places that do that, and they consistently get the comments back that people come for the workout or they
Uh-huh.
came for to feel better, what have you. But they stay for the community because it's not just you as the business owner,
Mhm.
but you've curated that
Yeah.
community. And so by you saying you just created the box, I don't believe that.
Yeah.
I think you created the
Yeah.
community as well. Doing that creates that loyal following that
Yeah.
will talk more about you, and that's free.
Yeah, we really want to be a space of community and that connector, right? So we have a lady who has chickens. And so when people need eggs, we're like, oh, just call us. We can connect you. Or when, whatever it is, we have a person who has bees, you need honey. Great. We have an herbalist on staff. If you want to learn more about herbalism or foraging, we have one of our teachers is a PT, and we try to help support and other small businesses, especially women owned, but really we try to be that connection. If you need anything, I want your first thought to be, we should call Heart and Light or we should stop by there. We want it to be a space of community because especially during the pandemic, we were all very isolated, and that's
Yeah.
not human nature. Human nature is to be in a tribe, is to be together. And so we just want to, even if yoga isn't your thing, we want you to come by. We want you to be a part of our family. We hope you'll try the yoga too, because it'll be really good for you. But if not, we have a book swap, or we have this, or we have that you can stop in and join us.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And that's going to serve you very well. But like you said, it's not like you're running an ad and you're getting leads the next day.
Right.
It's the long haul, but I think it's going to be the deeper roots that will be
Yeah.
with those
I hope
type
so.
of.
I hope so. There's certainly times when you're having a slow month or attendance is dropping. We are working on putting together our teacher training. That's usually where studios make the money. It's hard to maintain your profitability with just classes, but we're in the process of getting the certification for that. So it's taking a little while, but So there are times when it's just like pure panic because you're like, how am I going to pay the rent and the teachers and the bills, and where can we trim the fat? And there are times when you just have just that fear of that scarcity, and you just have to remind yourself that this is the long haul, that this is my heart and soul, and that it's the long game. You just have to trust the journey. I'm a recovering control freak. So, you know, so you just have to kind of let go and let it be and do what you can, and whatever happens. I'm lucky I have a really great staff, and they help to pick up the extra load and keep the studio going. We have some amazing teachers. I might be biased, but I think they're some of the best teachers in Nashville. And, so they bring a lot of great ideas. And so we're just hoping to continue to grow at a slow and steady pace.
Yeah. And it sounds like you've set it up to be like that as well.
I hope so.
How do you handle those tough times? Like when that panic and that scarcity mindset creeps back in?
Yeah, there's a lot of crying. There's a lot of, what have I done? How do I get out of this lease? There's a lot of venting to some other teachers that I'm very close with. Yeah, so I think one of my yoga mentors has a program, and in the program, there's one of the steps is to meet life where it is with no reaction. And that was a big one for me. And I'm highly reactive, especially when I'm pulling out of my own personal savings to help keep the studio open. Like, definitely there was a span of time. And you really just have to work through that. Like, you just have to stop and breathe, and you have to what I did was a couple of things. Yes, I journaled on it. Yes, I cried. But then I pull out the spreadsheets and see the trajectory that every year that we've been open, we have increased sales. We have increased the number of students that came in the door. We have increased. It may be slower than I want it to be, but it is happening, right? And so you just start to see, you change that mindset into looking at the positives and just being really grateful. During the pandemic, a lot of yoga studios, a lot of fitness studios in the Nashville-area closed, and I am still here. I am still standing. We still have our building, and it's beautiful, and we have students coming through the door, and we have new students coming through the door. And so all of that is good things. And so, it's just really changing your mindset, because you can get focused on the negative and you can spiral down that rabbit hole. But, and I think it's good that you do. Like, I don't think it shouldn't be good vibes all the time. That's not real life, right? Like, you have to acknowledge that things are hard. And then you have to make a plan. Like, what am I going to do to change this? Can I run different ads? Can I do this? Can I do that? Can I offer a student special? Whatever. What can I do to take action? Because that action and that will help to change your mindset. And then you just keep trudging through.
That's such good advice. The taking of action, especially when we're depressed or we're facing some difficulties in business. It's those little actions that move us forward that keep us sane, I think.
That's right.
Does that work for you as well?
Yeah, like action creates possibility. Because for me, it gives me a sense of feeling like control. The truth is, I don't really have control over anything, but I can control my reaction to it. And so I'm a list maker, so I like to make a list. And as I start to cross all those things off, as I start to see progress, even on a small scale, it makes me feel better. And really, it is true, bringing that negative energy. Like, I try not to bring that energy into the studio, right? So she called out to me. She wanted to be a yoga studio. Like, the universe kind of handed me my dream. And so I can't squander that, right? So I try to keep positive. And like I said, thankfully, I have just an amazing staff of people that continue to lift me up and point out all the good things. And it makes a big difference.
Yeah. And that's important, to have the support system around you, whether that's other employees or if it's other yoga studio owners as well.
Yeah.
So do you do a normal annual planning or quarterly planning? Normal, I say normal in quotes.
Yeah.
The big business, like coming up with your plans and all that. And how does that formulate your growth, do you think?
Yes and no. Last year, in 2025, I was unemployed for most of the year. I had left a job that was tiresome and thinking I could find another one really quickly. And I didn't. So I worked part-time, and I took the time to really lay out a plan, like planned literally from January through the end of December. Usually the last 4 years, I've had a plan, I've had a theme that built throughout the year, all of the things laid out where the marketing would be, laid out social media posts, 30, 60, 90 days in advance, all of that. And like I said, we've seen slow growth. But this year, I started the new job and I was super busy. And so I didn't do all that planning. Things just fell into place. And it's almost better. Like we're having better student. I feel like letting go a little bit and not trying to control the outcome, really just being in the journey has made the difference. I was even laughing with a teacher of mine last night that came to class. I was like, the more I step away, the better we do. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know if that's good or not. I don't know how I feel about it, but we do have everything planned through July. And then now we're working on the second half of the year, like what we're planning as far as events and things like that. We have made some class changes. We've added some new teachers. So I think it's something I probably should do, but in reality, it almost works better when I don't. And really in the fitness world, once you have your classes set, like people don't want you to change them. So like as long as they're being successful or they're working, like this is your class schedule. And we've added some additional classes on top of that once it's set. So it's really just a matter of the events and trying to get the yoga teacher training to stand up.
Good. Yeah, I think doing the annual planning is a really good exercise, but I think a lot of people get too much into the minutia, and then that's when they're constantly in the spreadsheet versus being out and seeing the bigger thing.
And I think that's what really, I think you're exactly right. And that's what I'm seeing. I was very much in the minutia, very much in the spreadsheet every day, or what are we doing? Or let's change this around and all the things. And I think that you miss the forest for the trees. You're like way in the weeds. And it's just been a little bit better to just experience and be agile enough to change with whatever's changing at the studio. Not being so rigid into the plan has served us better.
Yeah. And that's really good advice too. So listeners, definitely pay attention to that. Have the plan, but don't be so in the weeds of it that it's taking you away from actually taking action, because that's what creates the growth, what creates the momentum, profit, and all that good stuff. Yeah. So Dawn, tell us, how can people learn more about you and your studio and potentially work with you?
Yeah, you can go to heartandlightyoga.com, and that's all spelled out. So AND, so heartandlightyoga.com. You can follow us on socials at Heart and Light Yoga. We're on Facebook and Instagram. We also post on our Google My Business. And if you're in the Nashville area, we do have a new student special. So you have unlimited classes for $50. If you've never been to our studio before, you can sign up for that. You'll find it under the pricing tab on the website. And if you just want to come to our book swap or some of our other events, you can go to the workshops tab on the website and you'll see all of the events through July right now. So you'll see everything that we have scheduled. And if you have any questions and you want to reach out to me, you can send an email to info@heartandlightyoga.com and it comes directly to me.
Oh, awesome. I'm sure there's probably some yoga instructors or yoga studio owners that are listening that might just do that and get some good advice from you as well.
Yeah, we're always looking for collaborations or any ideas for workshops. So please reach out.
That's great. Cool. So Dawn, thank you so much for joining us today on the Heart-Led Business Show. I certainly appreciate you and your heart the advice that you shared.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity.
No worries. Thank you. And thank you, guests, for joining the show today. We really appreciate you listening and tuning in. So we're going to put everything about Dawn down in the show notes. So the website and all her contact details there too. If you want to get a hold of her, that will be down in the show notes. And also, if you're down there in the show notes, there might be a button there to give a rating and review. I would love it if you could do that. It really just helps spread the word about the Heart-Led Business Show and helps more entrepreneurs know that you can make a profit and be heart-led at the same time. So until next time, lead with your heart.
You've been listening to the Heart-Led Business Show, hosted by Tom Jacobs. Join us next time for another inspiring journey into the heart of business.